All right, Emma. Welcome to the show. We've got Emma Bates on the podcast. Welcome back, Emma.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for having me yet again.
Where are you? What are you doing? I'm looking at your kitchen background, wondering where you're at.
I'm in my studio apartment. There's not a lot of space in here. It's like 400 square feet. So I'm sorry you're just staring at, cabinets and a fridge, but this is the best lighting and kind of online, Wi-Fi that I can get in my tiny little space here in Boulder, Colorado.
I love it. Well, we just moved to North Carolina and this house has three bedrooms, technically four. The fourth is, I don't know how they call it a bedroom really, but anyway, all four of our kids sleep in the same room. And so now I'm like, we are a two-bedroom, two-office household because I want my own office. So I'm sitting I just bought myself a desk for the first time.
Yes. Oh, it makes such a big difference having your own space.
I've been
You need,
popping around the
you need
house, yeah, for years. Like I'll be doing an interview on my bed, at the kitchen table, like everywhere. And I'm like, I have my own office that's technically supposed to be one of my kids' bedrooms, but here we are.
Nah, it's all for mama. Yep,
That's
you're doing it
right.
right.
Well, congratulations. How are you feeling?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm still getting my voice back. It was a lot of yelling and a lot of just excitement. So it's finally nice to be back in Boulder and kind of be chill and kind of recover as much as I can right now. But it was such a wild ride. It was so much fun.
You, like, seriously, when you were finishing that race, you just looked so happy, like you knew you did it when you come up the little hill that probably doesn't feel little at the end of the Chicago Marathon, but then you come around the corner, which thank God they finally put the cameras on you.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, I had no idea.
Oh my gosh, I was going crazy. I was like, what is happening with the women's race? And I wasn't, for some reason, wasn't tracking. I was trying to like just watch on TV, but you just looked so elated, like just joy on your face.
Well, and at that point, I still didn't really know what place I was in. Like, you don't know until you cross the finish line because it's like maybe somebody miscounted. Like, my coach Joe was like telling me, like, oh, you're moving into third, you're moving into second. But, like, I don't know. Like, they were so far ahead of me the whole time that I didn't know. So, even crossing the finish line, I was putting up the twos, but I was like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Are you sure I got second? You sure? So at that point, then I realized, and it finally flooded in. And but I was just so happy to be crossing the finish line of Chicago again, and not only crossing the finish line, but crossing the finish line in a PR. Like at that point, I knew I was still running really fast, so I was just over the moon. So yeah, the smile was just for that reason, just finishing a marathon yet again.
Chicago's your course now, apparently.
Yeah, yeah, had some good times there.
Yeah, because it was 2019 when you ran 2:25:27. That was fourth place, wasn't it? Or was it fifth?
Yep, fourth place.
Fourth
Yes.
place. Okay. So I guess you could say you were relatively like green with marathoning at that point, like you debuted in 2018. So going into this race after having maybe not the easiest year in your professional running career the past year, what was your mindset going into it?
The biggest thing was just being so excited to be in a normal race again, especially a world major. I ran Marathon Project in December, but it was just elites. There wasn't going to be like this huge scene of atmosphere and energy. So that was what I was looking forward to most, was just like being amongst all these like crazy people that like to go run 26.2 miles for fun, like there's just something so special about being amongst, people that have the same values and have really big goals that they want to accomplish as well. So I just really wanted to soak it all in as much as I could, regardless of what my place or position was. I wanted to place in the top three. That was the goal. But like the main thing was just like getting in here and like having a good experience again, because it had been a while since I had a good race in my eyes. So just really trying to relish and just having fun and really just I don't know, just falling in love with the sport again. You fall not in and out of love, but there's just some ebbs and flows, and you're like, am I doing the right thing? Am I still like on the right track here? So that was really nice for it to be kind of validated that I'm doing the right thing and on the right path, and in the right place with the right people.
Yeah. I totally am like looking at the path of your career trajectory until now. And I can see how that story would play out in your head. Like you come out, you debut the marathon in 2:28, you win CIM, like a big deal. And
Yeah.
so it feels like, okay, what can I do? What can I do? And you were arguably like one of the favorites to make the Olympic team in the marathon. And I know that was a disappointing day for you. The track trials, you weren't super happy with that. So I can imagine how a day like this would just be like so much. I don't know if redemption is the right word, but like you did what you've been setting out to do for these last few years.
Yes, yes. I mean, it's hard because like looking from an outside perspective, it seems like I've had a really good career, but like when you have such high goals for yourself and you believe in yourself so much and to fall short of those goals, it can be really defeating. And I think that's what is so hard about this sport. It's so mental and just trying to get your head right and know that it's going to come around for you is probably the hardest thing. And it's maybe 10% physical, but 90% of it is mental and like showing up every single day and knowing that, it could not pan out if you even try as hard as you can every single day, it may just not happen for you. So that's daunting. And, you have to get past that and you have to like get out the door and be like, no, this is I'm doing this for me and I am just going to keep chipping away at it and believe that I just need to trust this process and trust that it's going to come around again. And I was very lucky to be amongst people that believed in me. So when I didn't believe in myself, they kind of took the reins on that. And that's something that I just can't, I'm so appreciative to have such a community and such a village to build me up when I can't do that.
Okay, let's talk about that village. You joined Team Boss in February. I love that you called Laura Thweet. She is one of my favorite interviews I've ever done. Like, so fun.
She's
She's
the funnest.
so
I
much
love
fun to interview. And she was one of those interviews that were like, not that I didn't think she would be amazing, but like I was so pleasantly, overwhelmingly surprised. I was like, I want to be best friends with this girl.
Right. That's exactly how I felt upon meeting her. I was like, can we be best friends?
So
Are we
fun.
yeah. And so when I talked to her, it was in February of this year at the 15K champs. I was like, I really am interested in moving to Boulder. And she just like, you could tell she was like, wait, what?
Give
What's
me a
happening?
training partner.
I'm like, wait, are you excited? And she's like, of course I'm excited. And so we were just like having this back and forth of like, oh my gosh, you want to train with me? No, I want to train with you. I want to be your friend. And so it was just such an easy choice just with her, just like the prospect of, having her as a teammate and training partner and friend. And just knowing that even if like I step away from the life that I've known in Boise, that she, I was going to have somebody there that's going to be, on my side and cheering me on along the way.
And then you call Joe, and then you say ultimately the people on the team decide is Emma for us. That's it feels like a dating game. Like, am I gonna get it rejected? Do they like me?
Yeah, so the girls of Team Boss definitely run the show. And I love that Joe cares so much. The rest of the team also just cares so much about the dynamic. It's all about like whether or not, it doesn't matter how fast you are, it's all about just if you mesh well with the energy and just the personalities on the team. And so I wasn't sure because I only knew a couple people on the team previously, and we had just been competitors, like Dominique Scott. And so I wasn't, I was a little hesitant about like, if Joe isn't like sure if they're going to accept me, are they going to accept me? But once I stepped into the team and like started talking to everybody, it just felt so right. And like there was just like this back and forth of just excitement. And I felt just so welcomed. And it's just like they just had open arms for me. And I am so grateful for that because it just made my life just so much easier in the transition and all the hard things that I had gone through. It just kind of like swept that all away. And this was in front of me and just like the joy and just happiness of being around them just made my life so much easier.
I mean, I don't know how you could like transition like that without a group of people to be there for you and like you acknowledging and knowing like I can't do this by myself is a really mature thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it. it's weird at this point in time of your career too, and also like transitioning during a really hectic time of like, the
Oh,
track trials and
yeah.
everything. So that was definitely like maybe not the best timing, but I knew that I needed to immerse myself into a community that felt like it was gonna kind of get me out of the funk that I was in. And it just they're just watching them through social media and just hearing from other people like what amazing people they were. I was like, this is what I want to be a part of, and just like their goals and their aspirations are just so amazing, and just being around them, you can just feel yourself getting better and better every day, not just on the track or on the course, but just in general, just in life. So yeah, I'm just so happy to be a part of them.
Yeah, I feel like it's trending more towards like these groups. And I always kind of go back to like Amy Hastings' group out here, Amy Craig's group out here, because I I love what they've done in the way that they've decided like this isn't going to be just about running. We want to be in a place where our athletes can feel like wholly, holistically supported. Their partners, like their family life too, is just as important. And I feel like Team Boss has been doing that for a long time.
Yeah, and you can sense that too. And I think that it really speaks volumes when there's not one sponsor too. You're just having all these different people from different events and different, shoe companies coming together because they want to be together. Like at this point in our lives, like we all love running so much and are so passionate about it. And so we're not like forced to train together. Like we actually really enjoy each other's company and love going to brunch together and doing all these other things together, like we're best friends in real life, like we're not just business associates. It's really nice to like have that outside, just support, because I mean it's a full-time job, like it really is. And so you have to keep that into perspective. And I didn't want to be forced into a team that it just didn't feel right. So I appreciate ASICS so much for, supporting my decision to join them as well, because a lot of other sponsorships kind of force you into a group that doesn't necessarily, gonna mesh well with your personality or your running aspirations.
Asics was looking good on the podium in
Yeah,
Chicago. You and
yes.
Sarah.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I just love to make ASICS proud because they have supported me so much through, especially this year. They told me that, even if I don't race this year, that they're going to be there for me.
Oh,
And I thought that was just really, really profound, and that changed everything for me. And to know that there was no pressure, to perform, and they weren't going to reduce me, like that's unheard of, in this sport. So but I, for my own sanity, I needed to keep training for things, because that's what really keeps me going every single day. And for me to get out there, and for Sarah to get out there and take 2 and 3 is I just am really happy for ASICS in that respect.
did you say anything to Sarah when you passed her?
um I think I just said good job. It was like, I didn't want to be patronizing kind of
Right,
thing.
right.
Like, it's hard at that point because I know that she was struggling so much. And so it was just like a quick exchange. And then I saw her at the finish line, and I could tell that she had a really hard day. But just so amazing to like share in the podium with her, because I know she gave it all out there.
Man, did she. That's
Yeah.
I love seeing Sarah race because you know that she is just like go into the well.
Right. It's all or nothing, and you have to respect that. That is amazing. Like that she can do that every single time she steps out onto the course. It's really something to aspire to. And so hopefully I can kind of learn how to put it a little more out there instead of just kind of like smiling and waving the whole.
Oh, but I think that that just showed that you executed that race so smart. And one of the things Joe said on Instagram was that you managed your energy and emotions throughout that race, which is really hard to do when you're like so physically fit and trained to run a really fast time, but it's going to be freaking 75 at the start and 80 degrees when you're finishing.
Right.
So, how did you do that?
I mean, I just trusted that, like, I mean, Joe just kept telling me to be methodical and patient. Like, you can't, people are going to suffer very, very deeply if they go out too hard. And so he knows, we're still learning so much about each other, like the dynamic and how good I am or how good I can be. But he wanted me to be conservative this time because it was going to be, it was going to be a hard day. So it was I was trying to go through halfway at 72 minutes, so 2:24 pace, but it just didn't feel right at a
Mm.
certain point. It was around mile 10 that I was like, I can't, this doesn't, this, it seems like I'm working a little too hard at this point in the race. Maybe the latter stages, that's fine. But so I had to take a step back from the pacer and Kira at that time. We were together, but I was just like, they need to go. And so I turned to Joe because I saw him again, and when Kira was quite a bit ahead of me, and I just wanted to assure him, like, they are going too fast.
Mm.
Like, I'm good, I'll be okay, but like, I can't do this right now. And he's like, okay, 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 you're totally fine. Like, just keep going. Like, I think he trusted me, and I trusted the process of what we kind of wanted to execute. But then I started to get nervous because I'm like, well, what if she doesn't come back to me? What if I, just this is where I lose the race kind of thing. And so it got a little scary, but then all of a sudden, I mean, the marathon is weird because you have some ups and downs and all the way arounds, but I felt good again. And so I started picking up. I think I dropped like a 5:10 at mile like 14, so right after halfway, and then just didn't look back and just started going and going and going, had so much momentum. And the more people you pass, it's just more energy that you have. And just passing, Joe and my teammates so many times, they were all over the course, by the
Oh,
way. Like, I don't know how they got from point A to point B. It was crazy. But every time I saw them, they were getting more and more excited. And so to have that excitement was getting me excited, giving me more energy. And that's just how it like that's how the race went. I don't know. Yeah.
they can see the look on your face, your form compared to the people that you're kind of chasing down, and you look so fluid and smooth. How do you handle like that scared moment though, where you're like, I know I need to do this for my body, but like,
Yes.
what if?
Yeah. I mean, you just have to run off of feel in the marathon so much, and you have to know yourself really, really well. And I think all of the training that I've done, especially when you do training by yourself, you really do run within yourself because, you make the pace, you set the pace. And so I think just looking back and kind of reflecting on the big workouts that you've had or long runs that you've had and kind of what changed in you then and kind of bringing that to the table during the marathon. And that was, I mean, just thinking like, just one foot in front of the other is like kind of breaking it down into step by step and, just focus on this mile. I think mindfulness is honestly the only way that I've ever gotten through, big long runs and marathons because you can't think of, the miles ahead of you. It's just going to be too daunting and too scary. And so just really bring yourself into the moment and really be honest with yourself with how you're feeling. And if you're not pushing yourself hard enough, push a little harder at that point. But also know that like you need to know yourself and you need to know that that energy level is not going to be expended in that moment. And so I think it definitely helps running. This is my fifth marathon, and so you kind of get a feel for it after a while. And so I think that helps a lot. But yeah, just mindfulness is the way that I get through most things.
How hot did it really feel?
It was quite hot from like mile two. I
Uh,
mean, even just like warming up was like, do we even need to warm up?
uh,
And most of the time when you're at a starting line of a marathon, I mean, you just are trying to stay warm and like you have all
yeah.
these clothes on. Well, we were all just sitting on the ground just waiting for this thing to get going and just like trying to cool ourselves off, putting water on ourselves. I had never taken water in a marathon before. I had never grabbed water cups on the side before because I mean it's been so cold. And so every time I crossed the water stations, I was taking 5 or 6 cups and dumping them on myself right away. And I had never drinking water, drink. I don't know.
Whatever.
I never drank water during a marathon before. I had always just done like gels and carb drink and stuff like that. So, but I knew like for this race, because it was going to be so hot, that you're going to start cramping. And so electrolytes and water are going to be essential. And so that was weird, was just like putting, water in my water bottles and instead of, the carb drink and stuff. That was going to be the biggest issue, was I think just like losing so much electrolytes.
Do you feel like you nailed the nutrition?
I did, and I think that I definitely have a good feel for the next few marathons. Like I probably won't need as much water next time, but yeah, I'm so happy. This is the first time that I haven't had stomach issues, and so I mean, three out of the four marathons I've done before, I've thrown up during, and so
Ugh.
this was a big day. This was like we're figuring it out.
And on such a hot day too, because those are the
Yeah,
days when you think you'd throw up. Um,
exactly.
so 2:24:20, and on a hot day, how excited does that make you for like what you can produce on like a 50-degree day?
Right. I didn't realize until like reflecting on the race how good that was, because everybody else that has like PRs way faster than me ran 5 minutes slower than those times at least. And so that gets me super excited that like I'm in the realm of a pretty good company here if I can pull off this kind of race on a really nice conditioned day. So it's definitely a career changer for sure.
Okay, so we have CIM, the Marathon Project, Chicago Marathon, the trials, and this Chicago, right?
Yes,
Those are your
yes.
5 marathons.
That's the pie.
Okay. Do you think you prefer a flatter, faster course or like something with some hills?
I don't know yet, and because the trials was so weird. It just yeah, I would like to run that course again just to see what I can do, because I do like hills and other races, not so much the downhill. CIM, my quads after those downhills were just destroyed, so I think maybe some undulating, like some New York hills might be
Yes.
okay. Yeah, I think I would love to do New York for sure, and Boston. Yeah.
I mean, like, obviously, I run New York totally different than you would run New York as an amateur here, but like that course to me is so much fun with the like ups and downs because you're getting enough relief with the downhill to like recover, and the uphills weren't as scary as I thought they were going to
Yeah,
be.
yeah, and it just keeps it exciting. I don't know, there's something to like look forward to. Like, oh, now I can get some downhill action, and like it changes up the muscles going uphill too. Like staying on flat, I mean, you just doing the same thing
Uh
over and
huh.
over. And so, yeah, no, I would like to try the hills. Yeah.
Okay, so what are you most excited about moving forward with Team Boss and the new setup that you have?
Just so much. Like I I just love the support that everybody has for each other, and like it doesn't matter whether or not you understand their event, like you're just behind them 100%. And so this fall for them is just going to be really like about base training. And so this is kind of the fun time to like be a little more relaxed. And so we're all kind of going to be in the same boat. So I'm really happy about that we're not all going to be like intense at the same time, especially. I had to be intense during their like break. So that was really hard to do
I
as well.
bet.
Yeah, it's kind of going to be nice to be like a little more on the same page with them. I think we're all going to kind of ramp back up in the spring. I'll probably do a marathon. They'll start going on the track. And so, yeah, just getting to know them more and more and just kind of seeing their quirks and all that stuff.
Do you think you and Laura will be able to sync up and like train for the same marathon?
So or I mean, Laura's not on the team anymore.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's very recent,
Okay,
but
I should know
but
that though.
she's my very best friend here. So like we are gonna run together all the time, and I'm going to New York City Marathon with her. I'm gonna be like her little personal assistant and help her like navigate like going to a marathon when you're like an elite. There's just so many like obligations and all these things. So I'm gonna try to take some of that off her plate and help her out. And so I'm so excited for her.
I mean, how fun is that going to be? Like those are always the best. Like your mission has been accomplished.
Yes.
You did the work and now you get to like enjoy just being there and like doing all the things and celebrating and watching and cheering.
Yes, yes. That is like I just want to be a spectator at a marathon. I've never like actually gone to a marathon and been a spectator. So like this is a very big moment for me. And like hopefully I'll be running the New York City Marathon in sometime in the future. So it'll give me a good feel for it too.
I had no idea that Laura left or wasn't with Team Boss anymore, and I
Yeah,
feel
so
kind of silly that I didn't know that.
to tell, I guess. I mean, but it's just it's nothing. Her and Joe were friends and teammates in college, so I think that dynamic is just it's tough. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like they were friends before he started coaching
Yeah,
her.
yeah.
Oh yeah, so she knew that she needed a change, and everybody respect that. Everybody is still in touch with her. We still go to brunch with her and like all these things. So it's like it still feels like she's on the team, honestly.
Do you want me to cut that? I can if you want.
It's up to you.
Okay, because like if that makes you nervous that you said that, I don't know if I maybe had seen that on social media and I just didn't
Yeah.
pay attention. But I if that makes you nervous that you said that on the show or whatever, I can cut it out.
Let me ask her and then
Okay.
I'll get back to you because yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. I mean, I don't think it sounded bad, but then I just don't want you to be like, oh, should I have said that? So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Let's see. I'm trying to think of anything else. Obviously, I'm gonna cut this rambling part out as well.
Yes, yes.
um,
And any other ramblings that I have? 'Cause
oh no. I
Sorry.
meant my rambling. No, no, no. Okay, well, it looked like you all celebrated hard. Like you looked like you had some fun with your friends after the race.
Oh my. I nobody gave me water the entire day. I was like, what is happening? They also like going to elk run, Emma's elk run is insane. I don't know if you saw videos of that, but like just champagne everywhere.
Oh,
I had so
really?
much champagne in my eyes that day. Luckily, I had a nice outfit on, so they didn't want to spray me with the champagne the other day. But it was so much fun, and like just again, their excitement for me, like I was just so like astounded that they all wanted to come to a marathon and cheer me on. Like that was very special. And for them to stay afterwards and celebrate in the way that they did with me is just it's unforgettable.
Were you feeling good though? Like, were you like, I need to get to bed, or were you like able to like soldier on?
I was on a high. I was feeling great. Like I think when you run really well, it just kind of like you forget about all like the aches and pains and everything like that. But I will say that that's the best that I've ever felt after a marathon. I think because I figured out the nutrition, so I didn't feel like I was going to throw up the rest of the day. And then just the shoes, Asics shoes are just like you can recover so quick off of those babies. So I am very happy with those kicks. Yes.
I love it. You mentioned beforehand that like you try to stay silly and like playful before the race, but everybody was getting like super serious, which
Yeah.
I imagine you're probably like a small percentage. Like I imagine most elites that are running at your caliber, trying to podium in a major marathon are pretty serious. So like how do you handle that?
I know, and I feel bad because like I get really chatty beforehand because like it's nervous energy
Uh-huh.
too. But I have to respect that like they have their own thing. They get in their zone and they put on their earphones and all those things. And so I I need to be more careful about it, but I because I can get really annoying. I promise it's not good. But it was so nice to see Tim Rossi. So he was helping pace Shalane. So he wasn't going to race his own race. So like I was able to talk with him because he was just in a chiller mode. So I think I don't know what he's like before his
Uh-huh.
main, but I was able to seek him out and like just kind of have some fun, yeah, for a little while.
Maybe you can flag down like the pacers or something, people that are there to pace in the future.
They're serious too, though. No, like because they have to go pretty fast. I
And
mean, they're
yeah,
220 pace, some of them. I mean, 211, evidently. So they're pretty in it as well.
that's true. And their job's on the line in a different way than your job's
Yeah,
on the line.
yeah, exactly.
They don't want to disappoint the people that are trying to podium. So tell me now, like you are a podium finisher for a world marathon major. Like that is a title you will forever hold. How does that feel?
It's honestly like still sinking in, and like people keep saying that to me, and I'm like, I don't know if I'll believe it until like maybe even next year, until like you're seeing it in there, and like as runners, we just always want more. We just always expect more from ourselves all the time, and so like I probably don't appreciate it as much as I should right now. But like, I'm just looking at the next thing also, like I want to accomplish more. I took second today. Well, I want to win, the next time. So it's like, it's funny that like, I'll look back on this day very, very fondly. I know that I will. But right now it's just like, oh, it's just another day, kind of thing. It's like I expected to podium and I did it, executed it, as well as I could. But yeah, there's always something more that you want.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine you did expect a podium placing fourth in 2019.
hmm
Yeah.
And that's the thing that people don't know too is like I knew my training, I knew what I was doing, and I knew it was going to be really, really good and special. It is always just a great feeling for it to actually come to fruition, but it's not a big shocker in my eyes. Like I think what shocked me most was like how fast I ran,
Mm.
but especially with the conditions. But to podium was like, yeah, yeah, I check mark, kind of thing.
What does Joe talk to you about when you're doing those long training runs and he's on that little bike next to you?
Well, when he's not like singing at the top of his lungs to Ed Sheeran, he is just talking about how, it's accumulation of the stuff that we're doing, of the workouts that we're doing. It's, you don't need to have this big day. It's all just about like having really solid days. And so he's just the whole time like he's been biking with me and just being like, hey, like again, the theme of the whole cycle was methodical and patient. Like you just need to trust what you're doing and trust that like it's just you're gonna keep going and be patient with it. You can't force anything and just really run within yourself. And that's how I've always like wanted to run. And so for him just to like be saying that to me and validating what I've always kind of known is just so helpful. Like I don't need a coach yelling at me to run faster or, train harder. It's all about just like, hey, like you're doing it. You're killing it. Like you don't need to go any faster. You're doing what you need to do. And that's I love that about him. He's so calm, he's so collected. And until he gets excited and then he's jumping around and doing fist bumps, in the race. But but he is just like such a good energy to have around. It's very, very, very appreciated, and I love having him on all my runs because it's such a good energy, especially when he's singing along.
I mean, yeah, it's like you play the races that you have run, the marathons that you have run. Obviously, you're going to push as hard as you can. Like
Yeah,
you don't need to be screamed at to run faster in a workout. You're not going to sell yourself short in a workout. You know by now that you don't want to do that.
yeah, this is my job. Like I'm not just doing this for, the heck of it. Like I want to be out here, pushing myself as much as I can. Absolutely.
I think that's so important too, the like patience and methodical. And I think that everyday runners really need to like listen to that bit of advice because you can't crush every single workout and like run yourself to the ground. You have to be patient and you have to be methodical and you have to let this build. And like he said, it's not this one magic day, it's like the accumulation of all of this work.
Exactly. I mean, he always says like to give 80% every day because I mean, maybe not in like track sessions and stuff like that, but for the marathon, like, especially when you're running as much as you are, I was running, like 120-mile weeks, like that is going to do enough in itself. Like, it's so funny watching, I mean, especially a lot of people in Boulder, they're just like hammering workouts and like, it just doesn't pan out for them on the day because like you're using up all of that energy, those stores that you have for the race and putting it into these workouts that don't matter. Like you don't need to be a workout warrior, you just need to execute what you planned on doing, and as long as you can accomplish that, then I mean it's just going to keep building on itself. Yeah.
I feel like I see so many overtrainers and then just can't pull it together on race day, and it's just like there's just so much overtraining going on. So listen up, everybody. So
Yes.
wait, but you peaked out at 120. I remember when I interviewed you in 2018 when you ran CIM, you were running around 100 miles a week, right? So is this your highest that you've ever done?
This is, yeah. And to do it at altitude is like, I was a little nervous at first, but I felt so good. And like, it's funny because everybody on my team was like, Emma, you're running 120-mile weeks and you have the most energy we've ever seen. of you and everybody that's ever done a marathon. And so like it's weird that the more that I run, the better I feel and the more energy I have. And so to an extent, like I'm not going to say like, oh, I can go out and run 150-mile weeks and feel great, but it's yeah, it's really really surprising that 120-mile weeks we're comfortable here.
That's awesome. Okay, Emma, I'm not going to take much more of your time. Let's wrap this up. We've done into podcast questions with you. You've been on the show before. I can't believe it's almost been 3 years. I'm kind of surprised I haven't had you back on since then.
Yeah, yeah. You should ask me more.
I
No,
know.
what?
Let's make it a regular thing. We'll do at least yearly.
No, weekly.
Oh, weekly. Okay, I love that. So I'm sure things have changed a little bit since we talked 3 years ago. We did chat briefly before the Olympic trials though in the hotel. I don't know if
Yes.
you remember that. Very
Oh,
quick.
yes, yes.
I
That
had
was
my
a chaotic day, but like yes. I met your son.
Yes,
Yeah.
Marshall. Well, we were staying in that hotel for the first night with all of you elite runners, and then I went and got an Airbnb with friends that we stayed with. Um, but I know I was like, I didn't want to like say hi to everybody because you guys were all focused on your goals and whatever. But anyway, we had
No,
a
it was
little
nice
chat.
to see a friendly face. It was great. I loved it.
Okay, what is the best, most recent book you've read?
Oh, well, I am actually so my teammate Gabby Jennings, she put me on to what is it? Oh gosh, I'm totally blanking on the name. Throne of Glass series. It's
Okay.
like these fantasy books. I love it. It's about like this girl that just like is a total badass, and she like is an assassin, and she like goes to all these places and tries to like free slaves and like do her thing, and she just like has so much value in like just other people and just cares so much about other people, and it's just really inspiring, and like it's kind of nerdy, but like I love it. And so yeah, Throne of Glass series is my favorite right now. It's always like my favorite book is always like the book that I'm reading right now.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
feel you. Is it young adult?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
It's probably too young for me, but I don't care.
Well, no, I mean, it took me forever back in the day when like Twilight and what is it? Katniss. What is that?
Oh, or sorry, Hunger Games.
Hunger
Yes,
Games. Like
yes,
it
Hunger.
I was a little bit behind everybody else on those, but once I read both of those series, it was years ago now. I loved them. So,
Yes, yes. So if you like Game of Thrones and Hunger Games, Throne of Glass is way to go.
okay, I've never done Game of Thrones. I feel like it's like too violent for my liking.
Yeah, it's like in between that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Um
yeah.
because I don't feel like I ever like tend to lean towards books like that. But like when
hmm
something's so freaking popular, I'm like, there's gotta be a reason it's like everybody loves it. And so
Yeah.
I was super into both of those series. So
Yes. Awesome. So yeah, definitely recommend it.
okay. And side note, I watched Hunger Games the first movie with my oldest son, and I was like, this is so fun because it's actually fun for me to watch, and you're big enough now that like you
Right.
can enjoy it too.
And sharing that. That's
Yeah,
I love it.
so
Oh,
fun.
yes. How old
Um,
is he?
he's
Sorry?
9.
9. Oh yeah, perfect. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I mean it's a little violent, but
Well, I mean, there's more violent things out there, so,
yeah.
so
Um,
there's some value in it. There's a lot of good values in that.
totally.
Yes, yes.
There's some slow parts where he was definitely a little bit bored, but I was like, but don't you get it? Look, 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 you know.
Yeah. You gotta hype it up. You're there for that reason. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what are you listening to like the morning of your race? Do you have headphones in? Are you listening to any music?
I don't actually. And that's the thing, like I think I always listened to music when I was like in high school and college, and the moment I start listening to music before a race, I just start to get way too nervous
Oh,
because it brings
really?
me to like those times when I was really nervous, and so I just can't. Like I can't do it. So, but when I am listening to music just any other time. Like I really like to listen to classical music when I'm doing like longer tempos. And so like if I'm by myself doing a longer tempo, like classical music for some reason it's just like keeps me calm, but like it also like builds so much at the right times that it kind of like gets you into a rhythm, and I really like that. Yeah.
Do you have a playlist you use on Spotify for that?
Yeah, I call it classical shit.
Can we find it?
Yeah, yeah, I can send it to you
Send it
too.
to me. I'll put it in the show notes.
Perfect.
I just want to try it. Like I don't I feel like it's not my jam, but I want to try it.
Yeah, yeah. I just told a friend to do it and he said that he had the best tempo of his life. So, I mean, there's something just
Okay. All
that.
right, everybody get on that. All right, Emma, what message from, the past couple years, Chicago, this new season of life for you, what message do you have to leave our audience with?
Just enjoy, like, enjoy whatever it is that you have in your life that makes you happy. Like, I think that I just wasted so much time just, focusing on these goals of mine and whether it be in running or just life in general, that I lost sight of just like enjoying myself in the moment. And I think that has changed my entire perspective on not just running, but life and just my whole outlook has been just happiness. Like just take in all the energy of those around you and just feel that in your whole life and just really, I don't know. I'm trying to put it into words that like make sense in a way that like I just am so happy right now and like I don't know how I got here, but I know that everybody around me had a part in that. And I need to express gratitude in that. So I don't know. I get really rambly. I'm so sorry. I like it's so bad. I like try to be so profound and it just comes out as like blah, blah, blah.
No, you know what? That question is always like, oh, I used to say, what is your last message? What is your message to the world? And I
Right.
started changing it to like your message to the audience because then people can kind of tailor it to like what they're going through right now or, whatever the topic is.
I think it was too broad that I was like trying to cover everything.
That's good though. No, and I think what I took from that is lean into people when you're going through something.
So you translate it for me. Thank you. Yeah. You
Because
understand me.
like I don't know about you, but like when I'm going through something hard or when I'm in my head about something, I sometimes want to like get reclusive and like hide
Mhm.
out and not see people, but I know that like if I actually like reach out to someone or like immerse myself with other humans that aren't just my family,
Oh,
it's going to be better, but it's sometimes really hard to like push yourself to do that.
it's really hard. And I think that, with the pandemic and everything, that it made us even more reclusive and more isolated. And we like took comfort in that and got used to that. And I think that, immersing back into society eventually, like once things are a little bit more back to normal, hopefully people will understand that like we can't take this for granted. We can't take the social interactions and we really need to value the people that we have in our lives a little bit more. So, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I truly believe that like we were created and meant to like live in community, and when we hide away from that, we're not serving ourselves and we're not serving the people that would benefit from us being in community with them.
Yes, yes. You don't understand how much you mean to somebody until like, you lose them as a friend or aren't talking to them anymore, Like I've realized that relationships again, like they're a lot of work, but they're worth it because you get so much from them. They get so much from you and like it's just a really special connection that you can make and it's more impactful than you really realize.
Yeah, so go text your friend that you haven't talked to in a week, everybody, or call them. Pick up the
Yes,
phone.
phones are good, yes. Which reminds me, I need to call a few people here.
I know. Last thing I'll say on that, I was like having the worst day last. I don't know if it was last week or the week before. I can't keep track. But anyway, I ended up calling one of my girlfriends from back home in Indiana, and we talked for like 45 minutes. And then I was like a brand new person, and I'm like, I
Right?
just need to do that more often.
Yeah, you feel so good and you just feel like so rejuvenated. Yeah, it's crazy what people can do, what friends can do. It's awesome.
Totally.
Yes.
Okay, Emma. Well, thanks for doing this post race. I'm sure you're kind of bombarded and have a lot to do, so I appreciate you spending 45 minutes with me.
I was so happy to do it. Thank you so much for asking me.